street and even outside. So good morning and a very warm welcome to you all. Most of our invitees are online and joining us virtually, so a very warm welcome to all of them too. So today is an important landmark for Aster Medcity in its remarkable journey. It's a very young institution. As an outsider who has joined the family quite recently, I can say its journey has been remarkable for a young institution with just a 7-year history. And it comes as no surprise to anyone that its leadership as well as its people now aspire not to be just one of the best hospitals in India, but to be one of the best in Asia, if not the very best. And this attribute is because of the dynamism, the leadership and commitment that we see from the top and which has been imbued by all members of the Aster family. So in the words of our chairman, in the race for excellence, there is no finishing line. Therefore, Aster Medcity has now entered the next lap of its race to achieve international standards or global standards in clinical care and excellence in its super specialties. What we hope is that in the next 3 to 4 years, we would have converted all the 9 centers of excellence of this internationally accredited hospital to global centers of excellence. So a center of excellence by itself is committed to providing exceptional service through a very dedicated team of experts in a specific field in order to fulfill the goals and mandate of the organization. And the mandate of this hospital, this institution is very clear. It is to provide the highest quality of clinical care, which is compassionate, accessible and affordable to all. So through this transition to a global center of excellence, what do we hope to achieve? What is expected is that the multidisciplinary teams of the Center of Excellence, comprising of neurologists, neurosurgeons, neuroradiologists, neuropathologists, neuropsychologists, rehabilitation and pain management experts, that their collective expertise will now be harnessed and will provide, and they will be adopting the best clinical practices, cutting edge technologies and displaying the highest professional standards so that the clinical outcome and the patient experience are the very best. So this is the path that we expect all the centers of excellence to take in the next 2 to 3 years. The pursuit or the path to excellence would be grossly incomplete if there is no advancement in the academic programs and research activities of these clinical new subspecialty programs. So as you all know, the Department of Neurosurgery has already established 4 of its subspecialty centers. And with the addition of the 4 neurology subspecialty centers, we would now be elevating ourselves in such a way that patients with a wide range of neurological disorders, be it acute or chronic, will now get the expert treatment which is focused, comprehensive and patient-centric. So the new centers are the stroke center, the intensive care unit, neurointensive care unit, Parkinson's and movement disorder center, as well as epilepsy and sleep disorder centers. So as you all know, time is brain. Acute treatment of critically ill neurological patients having inflammatory or infectious disease of the brain, uncontrolled seizures or stroke is going to be determined by the timeliness with which treatment is given, as well as the expertise with which it is given. So what we expect is that with the formation of this global center of excellence, we would be providing cutting-edge, state-of-the-art treatment to patients with a wide range of neurological disorders, utilizing the expertise available in the multiple units of neurosciences. With this, I'd like to go to my responsibility, which is to welcome all the guests, including the chief guest, as well as the special invitees. So Srimati Veena George, the Honorable Minister of Health and Family Welfare, has plunged into the middle of a pandemic in its second wave, and as we have all seen, she and the department, with the help of hospitals in the public as well as private sector, have been able to rein in the pandemic to manageable levels. We have been successful under her leadership in achieving very high rates of vaccination as well as in the utilization of vaccines, and even investigating and controlling a potential Nipah outbreak. So it is a great honor for us that she has agreed in full compliance with the protocols of COVID to be able to inaugurate this event virtually, as well as deliver her inaugural address. So on behalf of all of you, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to her. Next would be our chairman and managing director, Dr. Asad Mopen, whose global vision and caring mission has crossed several continents and spans several countries. Now, it is his visionary zeal and his inspiring dynamism that drives all of us in the Aster family, and it is his very caring, compassionate, and respectful attitude to his employees, which is the glue that binds us all together. So by moving to this global center of excellence, the first being neurosciences, we at Aster Medcity are fulfilling a small part of his global vision for Aster Medcity. So it's a great privilege to me to welcome him also, and we will be looking forward to his inspirational words from Dubai in a short while. Next, we have a very, very eminent personality in Professor M.S. Valitan, who would be also felicitating this event. It would be presumptuous on my part to try to introduce somebody of the stature of Professor Valitan, whose name is written in golden letters in the annals of modern Indian medicine and science and technology. But for those of you who are not familiar with him, he is currently the National Research Professor for the Government of India. He has occupied several high offices, one of which is very close to some of us here who are SETNs, is that he is the father figure who nurtured Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute to an institute of national importance. A cardiac surgeon by training, his interdisciplinary research spans from the development of the famous Chitra valve to very in-depth studies and documentation of the principles of Ayurveda in a series of highly authoritative books on the subject. So he has won so many awards and accolades that it's impossible to count them, both national as well as international. I count it as a very special blessing that he has agreed to felicitate this event, and I cordially welcome him on behalf of all of you, as well as myself. Now we come to our home team, our regional director for Kerala Cluster of Hospitals, Aster Hospitals and Oman, and our CEO, Ambali Vijayaraghavan, whose highly dynamic as well as energetic leadership has led to the transformation of what was just a dream into a reality today. They have been assisted in this process by a very highly competent team of people from various departments and divisions of this institution, and I am completely amazed by the well-orchestrated and organized and coordinated, harmonious way in which things have come together in a very short while. And in the coming few years, I expect our hospital to make great strides under the leadership of these two who are very close to all of us. And it has been my personal pleasure to associate myself with them as well as my colleagues in bringing together this concept of a global center of excellence in which neurology also has grown. I would then come to my friends and colleagues of several years, Dr. Dilip Panikkar as well as Bobby. I take this opportunity to congratulate as well as put place on record my most sincere appreciation for the way in which they have built this fantastic departments of neurology and neurosurgery in this institution. It's obvious to everybody that they have put their heart and soul into this endeavor and brought it to this level, and Aster Neurosciences is well known across the country, and we owe it to them. So now from today onwards, they also bear this additional responsibility of leading a global center of excellence along with their excellent team of colleagues within their departments as well as in the allied departments. So they do not require any special welcome, but propriety demands that I welcome them to this event. So finally, before I conclude, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all our colleagues here, as well as our guests who have joined this program virtually, as well as our friends in the media who has given this event great coverage. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. I now welcome Ms. Ambli Vijayaraghavan, CEO Aster Medcity, to share an introduction of the Neurology Subspecialty Center's Global Center of Excellence in Neurosciences.
Thank you and welcome everyone. As I stand here today, I actually think back about a year, and it was then that I had Dr. Bobby and Dr. Dilip first present the entire concept of what a global center of excellence would look like. I remember thinking to myself, this is a lot of them personally, which shows up in this entire presentation. It showed a lot of depth of thought, what the department wanted to achieve. But there were two principles, I think, based on which the entire presentation, the entire vision was centered. One was about putting the patient and building everything around the patient. So we may ask ourselves, weren't we doing that already? We were, but it did require a bit of refocus, and a lot of discussions then followed about how this would happen and how we would want to change our processes, the way we work, the way we communicate. And of course, the second bit was about physical proximity. This building is 6.9 lakh square feet, and we know what happens when patients have to move around. So the second idea was to have something which was integrated together and where patients didn't have to move around. We did a fair amount of work, but I have to admit that, as you know, in neurosciences specifically, when Dr. Asha came in, Dr. Bobby and her put together really the practicalities of how such a center would function and what it would look like even physically. I even remember going onto the floors and almost like an architect, both of them telling me this is what it will look like. But believe me, that place, if you went as someone who, who had this only in their minds, it's very difficult to have actually placed an EEG here, a sleep lab here. But they had that, and I realized that it is then our duty to put that vision into place. What you will see today is that vision come together. Day before yesterday, a couple of our managers and all of us went around, and we were extremely proud with what had been put together, what had come together, and actually this was quite a fast-forward-ish kind of an exercise. We managed a lot of things, and with the kind of speed we've never done before. So I think an exercise like this brought us together. It helped us concentrate, focus, and ensure that we actually put things that they had in mind on the floor. So what will you see on the floor? You will definitely see something which you'll be very proud of, state of the art. It has 12 inpatient beds. It will be divided into a neuro ICU, a stroke ICU, and HDU beds. You will see the video EEG units, the sleep lab units, a programming area for DBS. But in all of this, you will also see how the entire patient experience is going to change, because this is all a part of one area where the patient and the relatives, we hope and we will make sure, get an integrated experience. We also know that when something like this comes into place, there are individuals who will be driving this. And from Dr. Bobby to Dr. Asha to Dr. Sandeep, Dr. Reggie, to Dr. Matthew, I think it is their individual passion and their focus that is now going to drive this into perhaps the best center in India and subsequently the world. We have a lot to do, and I think this is the first baby step that we are taking to create, to make the dream a reality. I hope that I stand here a couple of months, a year later perhaps, and speak of everything that we've achieved, and I know we will. So I would like you to take time out today and go up and see what the whole place really looks like, and what really the vision is and what we are trying to create. I personally am extremely proud that I was a part of this entire endeavor. To me, it was an incredible team building exercise. I told you, we've never done something so fast, so quickly, at least in my 1.5 years. So it tells us that it sometimes takes exercise of this sort for individual passion, individual commitment to come out and really show up. So to the entire team, I have to say that I'm really proud and thankful that we were able to pull this off, and I know, and I really know that we will be doing an fantastic job to ensure our patients get a superlative experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amli. We will now play a short virtual tour of the facility. Thank you. Our Honorable guest, Srimati Veena George, Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Government of Kerala, will join us virtually on this grand occasion. Her inaugural address will be shared through a video message.
Aster Group Chairman Bahumaninaയ Dr. Asad Mookkach, Dr. Farhan Yasin, Srimati Ambli Vijayaraghavan, Dr. Asha Kishore, Dr. Dilip Panikkar, Dr. Bobby Varki, ബഹുമാന്യരും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരുമായ ഏവരുമേ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട സഹോദരി സഹോദരന്മാരെ, ആസ്റ്റർ മെഡിസിറ്റിയിൽ ന്യൂറോ സയൻസ് വിഭാഗത്തെ ഗ്ലോബൽ സെന്റർ ഫോർ എക്സലൻസ് ആക്കി ഉയർത്തുകയാണ് എന്നറിയുന്നതിൽ വളരെയധികം സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. ആദ്യത്തെ ന്യൂറോ ക്രിട്ടിക്കൽ കെയർ യൂണിറ്റ് ഉൾപ്പെടെ 4 വിഭാഗങ്ങൾ ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയാണ് ഈ ഗ്ലോബൽ സെന്റർ ഫോർ എക്സലൻസ് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത് എന്നാണ് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. സ്ട്രോക്ക് സെന്റർ, പാർക്കിൻസൺസ് ആൻഡ് മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഡിസോർഡർ സെന്റർ, എപ്പിലെപ്സി സെന്റർ, സ്ലീപ്പ് ലാബ് എന്നിവ കൂടി ഇതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടാണ് പുതിയ സെന്റർ ഓഫ് എക്സലൻസ് സജ്ജമായിരിക്കുന്നത്. എല്ലാ രോഗികൾക്കും ന്യൂറോ സംബന്ധമായിട്ടുള്ള ചികിത്സ നേടുന്നവർക്കെല്ലാം തന്നെ സൂപ്പർ സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റി കെയർ ഏറ്റവും മികച്ച രീതിയിൽ നൽകുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ക്രമീകരണങ്ങളാണ് അവിടെ ഒരുക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത് എന്ന് മനസ്സിലാകുന്നു. ഇതിനുവേണ്ടി ആസ്റ്റർ മെഡിസിറ്റി എടുത്ത സ്പെഷ്യൽ എഫേർട്ടിനെയും ഡെഡിക്കേഷനും പ്രത്യേകമായിട്ടുള്ള അഭിനന്ദനം അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. സമയബന്ധിതമായി തന്നെ രോഗനിർണയവും നല്ല ചികിത്സയും ലഭ്യമാക്കുക എന്നുള്ളത് വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ടതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അത് ലഭ്യമാക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ പരിശ്രമവും അവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുന്നു. എല്ലാ രോഗികൾക്കും, സമൂഹത്തിലെ എല്ലാ രോഗികൾക്കും ഈ പുതിയ ഇവിടുത്തെ ക്രമീകരണങ്ങൾ, അതുപോലെ ഗ്ലോബൽ സെന്റർ ഫോർ എക്സലൻസ് പ്രയോജനപ്പെടട്ടെ എന്ന് ഹൃദയപൂർവ്വം ആശംസിക്കുകയാണ്. വിദഗ്ധ ചികിത്സാ സൗകര്യവും നല്ല ഡോക്ടേഴ്സും അവിടെ ഇതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. ഫിസിക്കലായി അവിടെ എത്തിച്ചേരാൻ ഈ കോവിഡിൻ്റെ സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ കഴിയുന്നില്ല. ഓൺലൈനായി ഈ പരിപാടി സംബന്ധിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞതിൽ സന്തോഷം, എന്നെ ഇതിലേക്ക് ക്ഷണിച്ചതിലും സന്തോഷം. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി ഇത് എല്ലാവർക്കും പ്രയോജനപ്പെടട്ടെ. രോഗികളായി ചികിത്സ തേടുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇത് പ്രയോജനപ്പെടട്ടെ എന്ന് ആത്മാർത്ഥമായി ആശംസിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഔപചാരികമായി ഉദ്ഘാടനം നിർവഹിക്കുന്നതായി അറിയിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
Thank you. I now request Dr. Asha Kishore, Head Service Excellence, to digitally inaugurate this ceremony. I now invite our dignitaries, Dr. Dilip Panikar, Lead Consultant Neurosurgery, Dr. Asha Kishore, Mr. Farhan Yassin, Regional Director, Kerala Aster and Oman, Ms. Ambli Vijayaraghavan, Dr. Bobby, Lead Consultant Neurology, to please come forward for the lamp lighting ceremony. Thank you. Our Chairman and Managing Director, Dr. Azad Mupin, has joined us virtually today. He would be sharing his felicitations through a video message.
I'm extremely happy that the Aster Medcity is coming up with the Aster Neurosciences Global Center. Aster Medcity already had one among the best adult and pediatric neurology departments with everything, with medical as well as surgical neurology, with people like Dr. Dilip Panikar, Dr. Bobby Workey, and all being there. And this was the place which was attracting patients from not only Kerala, but also from other parts of India and outside of India, from many of the GCC countries. But there was a requirement for this to be taken to a global level. And that's why we decided that we have to have the Aster Neurosciences Global Center. So apart from whatever it was, we are now starting new areas. One is Parkinson's disease and movement disorder center. This is one place which was there earlier, but in a very primitive stage. But with Dr. Asha Kishore, who was the former director of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute, coming on board, we thought that this is the opportunity to take it to the global level. As you all know, she's recognized nationally and internationally in this area, apart from her capabilities as an administrator. And we are now taking it up in a big way with DBS surgery and all that is required for this area. With the people getting older in Kerala especially, there's a huge requirement to look at Parkinson's disease, as well as in movement disorder. Now, another area which is being taken up is the stroke center and the neurocritical care center. This is a very, very important area. When you look at, see, a stroke is something like a heart attack, but people don't give that importance to that. Whenever you have a chest pain and even a doubt of that, you suddenly go to the hospital and get best care. Whereas in case of strokes, many times it is delayed and people don't get the care. And even if they come to the hospital, there are in the required facilities to manage them and to take them into the ICU and provide them all that is required. That will be taken care by the Neurocritical Care Center at Aster Medcity, which is again will be managed by the neurologists, neurosurgeons, as well as, of course, the intensivist and the anesthetist and all that is required. So stroke center with neurocritical care is another big area where we feel that this will make a huge difference. Now, there are other things which are being added, epilepsy and sleep center. And epilepsy, as you know, is very, very common when it is missed, especially in children. And this is something which, even though we have a pediatric neurology center and we had epilepsy treatment and all, we are taking it to the next level where the best possible infrastructure and people who can manage epilepsy will be available. And that is another important area. Sleep, again, is a very, very important area. Sleep center, we all know that many of us are deprived of sleep. And this can even lead to very serious problems if it is not attended to. Like even sometimes, very serious medical problems, which is due to sleep disturbance. So to assess that and to provide that support, the sleep center also is coming up. So on the whole, this is going to be not at the national level. It is going to be a center at the international level. And I'm extremely happy this is being taken forward by Aster Medcity and this is being launched. And while we do this, we are also quite conscious about the requirement for this to be available to the people who can't afford such treatments. And we have devised methods by which this can be done through the Aster volunteers, Aster DM Foundation, and other support measures. I hope that this will provide significant benefit to the people of Kerala, people of India, and people internationally. And I appreciate all those who have taken the initiative to establish this. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. We have Professor M.S. Valyathan, National Research Professor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, who will be sharing his felicitation through a video message.
I'm delighted to be with all of you today because it is an important day in the sense the Aster Medcity is transforming its Center of Excellence in Neurosciences to a globalized center for neurosciences. This is a major transformation, and there are three reasons for us to rejoice and to wish well for Aster Medcity. And the first reason is that of access, because in India, as you all know, the big problem in healthcare is access. Everybody wants access, whether it is primary health center or a tertiary hospital. Access is a problem. Now, this problem is acute in super specialties, non-communicable diseases, cardiology, neurology. And this globalized center which you are building will be a very effective, I cannot say it will solve the problem, it is a major step in solving the problem. That is one reason, because the new center will have specialized hospitals for epilepsy, for neuro-acute care, movement disorders, and stroke, and many others. Very few such centers exist in this country. So the access problem is a major step that you are taking. And to do this, you have to bring together enormous resources in terms of equipment, in terms of facilities, in terms of highly skilled faculty, highly skilled technologists. All this we have done. Now that, I would say, is a major reason for celebration. The second, as you all know, medical facilities are expanding all over India in the government sector, private sector. All these need skilled people in the entire field gamut of neurosciences. And you need trained people, and you are taking major step to develop these. A large number of training programs in neurology and all these subspecialties. That is a major contribution you will be making. And thirdly is basic research, because all that we are doing here, essentially they are based on borrowed technology. They are not developed in India, whether it is equipment or techniques or even concepts. So that you have a major research program being planned under the leadership of Dr. Asha Kishore, who was leading the Sri Chitra Institute until very recently. So that is another major step you are doing. So all these, I think, call for great applause for your globalized center. So I take this opportunity to extend my very best wishes for all that lies ahead and also compliment you on your splendid record so far. Thank you.
Thank you. I now welcome Mr. Farhan Yassin, Region Director of Kerala Cluster and Oman, SDM Healthcare, to please extend felicitations.
Respected Health Minister and dignitaries of the dais and on the dais. വളരെ സന്തോഷകരമായ ഒരു നിമിഷമാണ് ഈ ന്യൂറോ സെൻറ്റർ ഓഫ് എക്സലൻസിനെ ഇന്നത്തെ ഇനോഗ്രേഷനിൽ നമുക്ക് പൂർത്തീകരിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞത്. ഒരു ഉറപ്പ് എനിക്ക് തരാനാവുന്നുള്ളൂ, ഈ ഒരു ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ് ഇത്രയും സബ് സ്പെഷ്യാലിറ്റീസ് വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുള്ള ഈ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റിൽ സമൂഹത്തിലെ എല്ലാ തരത്തിൽപ്പെട്ട ആൾക്കാർക്കും അതിലുള്ള ചികിത്സ കിട്ടാനുള്ള സംവിധാനം ഇവിടെ ഒരുക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ സാമ്പത്തികമായിട്ട് പിന്നോട്ട് നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരാളുടെ പോലും ചികിത്സ സാമ്പത്തികമില്ലായ്മ കൊണ്ട് നിഷേധിക്കപ്പെടാൻ പാടില്ല എന്ന നമ്മുടെ ചെയർമാൻ്റെ ഒരു ദൃഢമായ ഒരു തീരുമാനമുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അതിനെ സഹായിക്കാനായിട്ട് ആസ്റ്റർ വോളണ്ടിയേഴ്സും ഡോക്ടർ മൂപ്പൻസ് ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ അതേപോലെ മറ്റു ചാരിറ്റബിൾ ട്രസ്റ്റിൻ്റെ ഹെൽപ്പ് നമ്മൾ എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ കേരളത്തിലും കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ പുറത്തുള്ളതും ഇന്ത്യക്ക് വെളിയിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാരായാലും ഏത് തരത്തിലുള്ള ന്യൂറോ സംബന്ധമായ ചികിത്സയും ഇവിടെ ലഭ്യമാക്കിയിരിക്കും. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരു വലിയ സ്ട്രോങ് 2 പില്ലേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട് ന്യൂറോ സർജറിയിലും മെഡിക്കൽ ന്യൂറോളജി ഇപ്പോൾ ഡോക്ടർ ആശ, ഡോക്ടർ ദിലീപ് പണിക്കർ, അവരുടെ കൂടെയുള്ള വലിയ ടീം. അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഏറ്റവും മികച്ച ടെക്നീഷ്യൻസും നഴ്സിംഗ് സ്റ്റാഫും കൂട്ടിയെടുക്കുന്ന ഈ ഒരു വലിയൊരു സംരംഭത്തിൽ ഏറ്റവും വിജയകരമായി നടക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് എൻ്റെ വാക്കുകൾ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. താങ്ക് യു.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Dilip Panikar, Lead Consultant Neurosurgery, Aster Medcity, to please share felicitations.
Thank you. Like in every clinical discipline, neurosciences too has realized a while ago that the way ahead is to subspecialize, to develop specialty services that will be able to provide best care for patients who seem to have increasingly complex illnesses that we end up dealing with. It's not only subspecialization but also the integration of care across specialties which makes a difference. I'm very happy that today a few major subspecialty services of neurology are being inaugurated under the leadership of Dr. Asha Kishore and Dr. Bobby, and made possible by the collective efforts of Farhan and Ambli with the blessings of Dr. Moopan, our chairman. I'm sure this center will go a long way in establishing the dominant position of specialty neurology services offered in Aster Medcity in the national and international sphere. Once again, wishing the entire team all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I now invite Dr. Bobby Varkey, Lead Consultant Neurology, to please share the vote of thanks.
First of all, thank you all for being here, respected dignitaries on and off the dais. It's my pleasure to give the vote of thanks today. It's a long list of people, but I've tried to shorten it, so please bear with me. I profusely thank the Honorable Health Minister Srimati Veena George for inaugurating a center today, for taking time off from my extremely busy schedule to give a valuable message and to laud our services. I would like to thank Professor Veliyathan, a doyen himself in institution building and a giant in the field of medicine, who has such excellent words to say about our Head of Clinical Excellence, Dr. Asha, and the confidence that he espouses in our program going forward. Without the vision of our chairman, Dr. Azad Moopen, and his unstinting support, our dreams would have remained in the realm of the ethereal world. His constant prodding, motivation, and drive has actually enabled us to dedicate the neurology department to the pursuit of clinical, academic, and research excellence in neurocritical care, movement disorders, stroke, epilepsy, and sleep to start with, and neuromuscular and other subspecialties as we go forward. We aim to be the best neurocritical care in the country technologically, economically, as well as aesthetically, and to ensure equitable and affordable cutting-edge technology across all sections of society. It takes very tough conversations and unstinting support to sail into uncharted waters. That's really a leap of faith to explore the unknown. I thank our CEOs Farhan and Ambli for their speedy, firm, time-bound implementation of the center. I don't think this kind of fast, excellent work has been accomplished in Aster Medcity before, and it is all due to a significant amount of time and energy expended by them. But for them, probably this project would have languished for years. I reserve a significant proportion of my gratitude for our Head of Clinical Excellence, Dr. Asha Kishore. It's quite evident that in the last 7 months that she has been here in the Department of Neurology on her arrival from following the directorship of Sri Chitra, the Department of Neurology has undergone a radical change and transformation from a minnow into a giant. We've been empowered to leverage our strengths to the maximum. That takes a special kind of person to see and plan a roadmap ahead for years. And Dr. Asha's impressive track record was indeed evident to everyone in the team. Her enthusiasm for the project and a hawk's eye on the day-to-day details as well as a far-reaching grand vision was the key to converting our dream into reality. I must thank my colleagues, my esteemed senior Matthew Abraham sir, Raji sir, Dr. Sandeep, and our associate consultant, Dr. Sharat Menon, for staying as a band of brothers throughout this tough year. As we walk through a valley of difficulties, we know that change is terrifying to one and all. Who doesn't love the status quo ante? We all like to be in a comfort zone. But they have made a significant effort to try to understand that change is the only way forward. Only if we break out of our comfort zone are we going, only if we take a leap into the unknown, are we going to really transform our department. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And despite all the initial apprehensions of my colleagues, they've understood that it takes real courage, it takes blind faith sometimes, and to see ahead of the curve, to see what it's going to take to break out of this existing mold and to take our department to a whole new level. I'm indebted to Suresh Nair sir and his critical care team for looking after our patients in the medical ICU all these 7 years, and for continuing to provide the same level of care to our patients in the neuro ICU. Without their support, our project is as good as dead in the water, and I look forward to their close anesthesia and critical care support in the neuro ICU. There are innumerable people to thank, but Dr. Dilip Panikar, as my professor of neurosurgery in Sri Chitra, and as a mentor to me for the last 7 years, who has always been a bouncing board for my opinions and who has groomed me for the last 7 years. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity that you have given me to grow to this level and for helping us set up this. I also thank our academic faculty, Unni sir, who was our first academic director, Dr. Geeta, who has constantly provided us a stream of fresh new recruits to help in our department, Dr. John, CMS, who has always listened patiently to our grouses and solved each and every one of our problems, Dr. Rohit, our assistant CMS, for taking time off, coming out of his way, coming into my room and asking me and trying to solve my problems, and a whole host of others for helping me. I'm also very indebted to our nursing staff, particularly, I don't know if Sindhu, our nursing manager, is here. She's the one who has been, ever since we lost our initial baby, the first neuro HDU ICU that we had, when the COVID pandemic came and it just kind of disappeared into thin air, she has been behind me. I used to dread walking into her in the corridors, but she used to keep asking me and motivating me to restart our neuro ICU. So I owe them a great debt. And going forward, I know that our nursing staff is going to be the ones who are going to be taking care of all our patients. 99% of the work is done by them. We are just supervisors who come in and out. I want to thank them for all the care that they've taken of all our sick patients through these years, and I'm sure they will put up their best foot forward going forth. The operations team, Shilpa, who set the ball rolling, Yash, who took it from there and scored a fantastic goal, Jayesh, Jayachandran, Ram from BD, and the whole team who made this happen, Biju, whose excellent creativity, the work you saw yesterday in just an afternoon, overnight, transformed the hoarding outside the hospital into such a beautiful projection of what our neurosciences department could be. These are people who have worked silently behind the curtain, but to them I owe a great deal of thanks for all the work they have done. It is, you people, you are the ones who really helped us implement our ideas. As the old Latin saying goes, per angusta ad augusta, through difficulties to honors. Nothing is gained without putting in a lot of effort, and without any pain there is probably no gain. So thank you one and all, and I expect you, and I assure you also of our constant cooperation throughout the next couple of decades that this is going to run. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today.